Hey everyone, I wanted to go over the new and exciting news that we have for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak on both the Nintendo Switch and on PC, and that's the fact that we officially have the brand new patch notes for version 12.0.0, which is set to launch by the time that you're watching this in just a few hours. Capcom decided to provide not just the English version but also the Japanese version of the patch notes. I'm going to be leaving a link in the description below for pretty much for you to check it out for yourselves if you desire, because there's a lot to go over. There's just so much information here. So I'm going to be going over the base, stuff, the more important things that are going to really affect the gameplay for everyone. Then there's stuff like skill changes, monster changes and stuff like that, behavioral changes for little things like that, palicos, palamutes. You can check that out in the notes. Those are a little bit more quirky, a little bit more weird. So we're just gonna not necessarily focus on too much. I'm gonna try to gloss over the main ones, but focus on the really important stuff, because otherwise this would be a 35-minute video and nobody wants that. They specifically mentioned that on Nintendo Switch, the patch will be about 0.6 gigabytes, so about 600 megabytes. On Steam, it's about 1.1 gigabytes. They do specifically mention that purchasable DLC is going to be available as part of the patch data. This is the very first time that they actually mentioned this, so you should probably know that you're still actually downloading paid DLC. You just don't have access to it. This is usually unlocked via a key whenever you purchase like DLC and stuff like that. All you're actually buying is the key access to it, but the data is already in your game's files, which is interestingly enough that they decided to make a note of that. When it comes to new story changes, they mentioned that new monsters have been added and will appear in the Gathering Hub quest. This is of course highly expected. New afflicted monsters and new risen elder monsters have been added into the game. Interesting description as they added, but of course we expected that. New quests have been added, of course. New anomaly research level has been raised. They're talking about afflicted anomaly investigation level 6. The level cap for anomaly investigations has been raised. We know that new level cap is now about 120. A wider variety of monsters now appear on anomaly investigations. That is interesting. I'm not necessarily what they mean by that. We're gonna have to find out, as wider variety simply just means more monsters appearing in anomaly investigations, but we kind of already knew that and they already mentioned that. They also mentioned that they added the ability to view all of the various quest details for an anomaly investigation when you join via a join request. So what that means is that when you're queuing up and you're about to load into a quest, you're going to be able to get all the quest details. Usually you just never necessarily know. You have to go in through the page to be able to check that out. Now you're going to have that information as you're joining into a hunt. They mentioned that new weapons, armor, and layer equipments and even skills have been added. A layered equipment system has been added for weapons. We were highly anticipating this, so of course no big surprise there. They mentioned that new prizes have been added to the market lottery. So what that means is brand new trinkets being available in the lottery, and of course most likely gold or wooden statues for monsters are also being added as well. New system elements, when they mentioned that, they mentioned that new guild card awards and titles have been added. So all of you guild card fans and title awards holders, you're going to be very excited about that. They do specifically mention that you can choose to display or hide fixed items in your item bar: the whetstone, the close range coating, normal ammo number 1, the throwing kunai, and the barbecue spit. So that is one of the changes that we went over, as they kind of like gave us that information in just the middle of the week and just a random thing. So some items are going to be hideable that you simply didn't have the option to before. You can still have them available, of course, in the radio menu, so you're not missing out on anything. They mentioned that there's new badges for heroes that have been added, and specifically for Steam, a new horror display filter has been added. Steam achievements have been added in the awards introduced in version 11.0.0, and achievements for new medals have been added for this specific version of the game, and of course this is all new specifically for Steam players. Now in the section where they talk about bug fixes and balance adjustments for players, this is essentially where they talk about the changes to some of the weapons. They're not necessarily major like damage adjustments or anything like that. They don't really mention any of that. They do specifically go over that it's now easier to transition into a crouch after stopping in place after a stealth dash. So when it comes to like actual weapon changes, I'm not gonna go over all of them because there's just so many of them. I'm gonna leave a link in the description below for that, but you should be seeing some of those on the screen right now. longsword, dual blades, lances, hammers, hunting horse, switch axe, charged blade, insect glaive, light bow gun, heavy bow gun are all getting adjusted in one way or another. Once again, link in the description below. When it comes to buddy changes, they've mentioned that they fixed an issue where attacking while riding Palamute while equipped with certain Palamute gear would not activate the healing Clover Bat. That has been adjusted. They also mentioned that the attack parameters for interactions between Palamute Silkbinder and range centric has been adjusted. What this actually means is that people were using Palamute Silkbinder and range centric quite a bit. This is like one of the most optimal builds for your doggo, so most likely that has been adjusted, and by that they mean nerfed. Therefore, we're gonna have to come up with a new build for your dogs, since everyone was running Palamute Silkbinder, and most likely that is what they are nerfing. When it comes to followers, they fixed an issue where the system's messages would not appear properly, showing that you had obtained an item as a follow-up. They also mentioned an issue where followers would leave their crouching and crawling state. They fixed an issue where your follower might sometimes run around in circles. That is very true. I picked up on that. Large monsters no longer go after followers who are wyvern riding or in a different area of the map. They fixed an issue where followers would continue to attack large monsters after they have been slain. Another issue when it comes to followers not dismounting from their Palamute when taking range damage or range weapon. They fixed an issue where a large monster is currently fighting might go after a follower who uses the stink mink before leaving an area. They also fixed an issue with messages regarding Furain. They fixed an issue with Hinoa will stay in place, continually reappearing, allowing arrow coding to show up. They fixed an issue with Minotaur would stop attacking in the same manner as Hinoa, and Fugans and enemy life traps will no longer hit the players. So a lot of changes to the followers in that regard. And when it comes to the monsters, this is another section I don't necessarily want to spend too much time on. They have specifically changes for like Grey Baggy, Daimyo Hermitaud, Rathian, Basarios, Shogun Senator, just so many monsters. Even great Crimson Glow Valstrax specifically also has some attack adjustments as well. But there are some important keynotes to kind of pay attention to. Starting where effects would increase the number of monster materials drops that will cause other materials to disappear. You have seen a lot of shining materials disappearing out of the ground. That has been adjusted. They fixed an issue where certain monsters will continue to run at walls. They fixed an issue where some monster attacks will go through walls and other obstacles. They fixed an issue where attacks will trigger explosions that will not work correctly on sloped terrains. They fixed an issue with turf wars between Gore, Magnamalo, and any of the following monsters, meaning Teostra, Kushala de Aura, and Bazelgeuse would unintentionally result in double damage. And they fixed an issue with health values on some small monsters in the arena were set lower than intended. So once again, you should be seeing the rest of the Monster Hunter adjustments there, and there's quite a lot of them. They do specifically mention that wyvern riding, they did fix an issue, a rare issue, where attacks would cause different amounts of damage than intended. So they did address that as well. When it comes to locales and environments, they fixed an issue where players could get stuck riding the Palamute in certain locations in the Frost Islands and the jungle locales. They fixed an issue where monsters could get stuck in the Cliff's Edge in Area 7 in the jungle, Area 9 in the jungle as well. In the Citadel, they fixed that in some areas as well. There is some falling damage that they addressed in the Citadel as well, specifically if you're riding around. The Great Wire Bug and the jungle and Citadels have been adjusted. They fixed an issue where you could get stuck in certain locations in the Frost Island. That has been adjusted. Most likely to talk about those fences and the hidden locale on the right side of the map. I believe that they're also talking about the Area 5 and the Lava Caverns has had some adjustments as well. When it comes to endemic life, it's now easier for you to hit your target when you throw in the Marionette Spider. This is something that they spoke about, I believe, like a month ago. When the beginning they introduced the Marionette Spider. It has been a little bit buggy. Now they are addressing that once again. They fixed an issue where you can no longer put your monster in a mountable state after hitting it with a Puppet Spider for the first time during an anomaly investigation. Once again, Marionette Spider, a little buggy. They're addressing that. Puppet Spider, not as buggy, but they're still addressing that as well. They fixed an issue where the contents of the Scale Lizard's material drops would be incorrect in some support surveys. They fixed an issue where morph wire bugs obtained by guest players would fail as they reappeared when playing online. And when it comes to base and facility changes, they fixed an issue where players could fall through the ground in certain parts of the Elgato outpost. When it comes to actual facilities, since Steam, they mentioned the cursor For the Smithy's material section in the window cannot be moved up and down by holding a specific direction. They fixed an issue for decorations box where it become unselectable in certain situations. They fixed an issue where holding down left or right as you flip pages in the decorations would also be an issue. They fixed an issue with the skill cost being shown at the topmost of the skill teach window of the body sections would not appear or would be misaligned. These are all just like, screen adjustment changes, nothing necessarily you should be too concerned with. When it comes to the last section of miscellaneous changes, they mentioned that in the quest section, they fixed the reward money for master ranks for Master 2 reward quest. They're adjusting those as well. The hunter rank points for the advanced true kings in the skies has been adjusted. Stout rewards for optional subquests has been adjusted. They fixed issues with the quest search will continue to interminably when attempting to make a join a quest. This is essentially when you're pending on a quest search and it takes forever and you're not getting any results. They're fixing some of those issues for at the very least some of the quests. They're increasing the chances of attaining afflicted materials from carving and broken part rewards. They're making it easy for search requests with lower conditions to appear in relations to the player's anomaly level. What they're saying here is that like all those monsters that you usually don't see appearing in the anomaly quest rewards, the ones that you're actually like continually leveling up, some of those monsters don't appear. Now you're going to be able to get more of those monsters quest also appearing. And lastly, for the Nintendo Switch, they fixed an issue that prevents you from continuing the game when it enters the sleep mode in the middle of a follower collaboration quest with a local in the lobby. There are a couple of other changes there, nothing necessarily, that would really make that huge of a difference. Once again, I'm going to leave a link in the description below for you guys to check it out. They do specifically mention other miscellaneous bugs and fixes have been made at the bottom of that. There's a reason why I mentioned this, and that is because I'm going to be making a video talking about some of the nerfs adjustments that they did for the patch 11.0.2, where they basically nerfed the monsters targeting, and I'm going to be talking about that in another separate video, since we kind of already knew that heading into this week, but I just didn't really get a chance to cover it before. But that is also something that we knew and we found out just earlier in the week. But that's about all the information that I have for you guys today. Quite a lot of details regarding the patch notes, a lot of adjustments, plenty of things to go over, and they're just cleaning up a lot of just the mess that they did. The free title update number 1 patch provided a lot of errors, and it seems like they're finally adjusting them with free title update number 2. If you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.